All right, you greedy fucks, welcome back to the deep dive. We're about to rip the goddamn lid off this financial world and see how these slick bastards are making a killing.
You know what they say, more money, more problems.
That's what we're here to find out.
Exactly.
Today we're diving deep into a firm you've probably never even heard of,
Most likely not.
New Mountain Capital. They're like the ninjas of finance, raking in cash hand over fist while staying under the radar.
Stealth wealth.
That's one way to put it. We got this Wikipedia article on these guys, and let me tell you, it's juicy as hell. So let's cut the crap and get right to it. How the fuck are they pulling this off?
Well, to understand New Mountain Capital, you got to understand the mastermind behind it, Stephen Klinsky. This guy's a legend in finance. Before starting New Mountain, he was a big shot at Forsman Little and Company.
Forsman Little and Company, big names.
Huge. Ever heard of the insane RJR Nabisco buyout?
Oh yeah, that was a wild one.
Klinsky was right in the middle of it. He also helps Goldman Sachs build their leveraged buyout unit, which is basically using borrowed money to buy up another company.
So this Klinsky dude, he learned how to play dirty with the best of them.
Learn from the best you could say.
But then he decides to start New Mountain Capital and do things differently.
Yeah, he did.
What's the deal with that?
It's crazy, right? Everyone else in private equity was drowning in debt, chasing the latest fads. But Klinsky had a different vision. He kept New Mountain lean, focused on sustainable growth. Basically flipped the bird to the whole Wall Street playbook.
Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But let's get down to brass tacks. What's their secret sauce?
Yeah.
How are they making billions while everyone else is struggling to keep their heads above water?
Their strategy is surprisingly simple, even bordering on boring, Parrot. They buy solid, mid-sized companies in industries that most investors wouldn't even glance at.
Boring industries. Like what?
Manufacturing, logistics, healthcare. Think your grandpa's retirement portfolio?
We talking companies that make toilet paper and dentures.
Exactly, and that's the genius of it. These industries are often overlooked, which means less competition for New Mountain. They also tend to have steady cash flow and tons of room for growth. They're not flashy or sexy, but they're reliable moneymakers.
So they're swooping in, buying up all the shit nobody else wants and turning it into a gold mine.
You got it. They find these undervalued companies, streamline their operations, and help them expand into new markets. It's like flipping houses, but for businesses.
All right, give us some examples. We need some juicy details. Hit us with some of those success stories.
Oh, they've got a whole trophy cabinet full of them. Take Red Prairie, for example. They snagged this company for a cool $550 million, transformed it into a supply chain monster called Blue Yonder, and then sold it to Panasonic for a whopping $8 billion. Talk about turning up profit.
Holy shit, that's enough to make even the most jaded Wall Street asshole drool. How the hell did they pull that off? Did they sprinkle some magic fairy dust on Red Prairie or something?
No fairy dust, just good old-fashioned business acumen. New Mountain focuses on operational improvements, making companies more efficient and effective. They also identify new market opportunities and help these businesses expand their reach. That's how they transformed Red Prairie into the powerhouse it became.
So they take these boring companies, give them a serious makeover, and then sell them for a king's ransom. Not bad for a bunch of guys who are supposedly investing in grandpa industries.
Right, and they've done it time and time again. Let's look at Aventor, a chemicals company. New Mountain flipped it for over $3 billion in profit. Then there's Signify Health, a healthcare play that went from a $500 million investment to an $8 billion sale to CVS. They're like the Midas of the business world. Everything they touch turns to goddamn gold.
So they're not just buying up random companies and hoping for the best. They're actually putting in the work, making these businesses better, and then cashing in big time.
You got it. They're not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. They're not just financial engineers. They're business builders.
Okay, so they're clearly doing something, right? But how do they decide which industries to target? Do they have some kind of crystal ball that tells them what's going to be hot next year?
It's actually a very structured process. Every year, New Mountain's investment team gets together for an intense strategy session. They analyze different industries, looking at macroeconomic trends, technological advancements, and a whole bunch of other factors. They're trying to predict which sectors are going to be ripe for growth over the next few years.
Sounds like a bunch of nerds locked in a room with spreadsheets and whiteboards.
No, they're definitely nerds, but they're nerds who are making a shit ton of money. And here's the kicker. They actively avoid the flashy, trendy stuff that everyone else is chasing. They're not interested in the latest tech fad or the hottest social media platform. They're looking for stability and long-term growth.
So they're the anti-Silicon Valley, huh? While all those tech bros are blowing their VC money on apps that nobody needs, New Mountain is quietly building a goddamn empire on the backs of boring but profitable businesses.
You nailed it. And it's working. They've even caught the attention of some of the biggest players in the game. Blackstone, another massive private equity firm, bought a 9% stake in New Mountain a few years back. That's like getting a billionaire's seal of approval.
Well, shit, if Blackstone is throwing money at them, they must be doing something.
Right?
So what's their latest power move? Did they buy a small island or something?
Their latest acquisition is pretty damn interesting. They just bought a 60% stake in Grant Thornton's non-audit business. Grant Thornton is a major accounting firm, so this is a pretty big fucking deal.
Wait, they're buying into accounting now?
Yeah.
That's even more boring than toilet paper. What the hell are they thinking? Are they going to try to make accountants sexy or something?
Nobody knows for sure, but it's got everyone scratching their heads. Some think they're going to try to disrupt the whole accounting industry, while others think they're just looking for a safe and profitable investment.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what they do with it. But one thing's for sure, these guys are not afraid to shake things up. They're always thinking a few steps ahead, and they're always looking for the next opportunity to make a killing.
And that's what makes them so fascinating to watch. They're proof that you don't need to be flashy or follow the crowd to be successful. Sometimes the best strategy is to be smart, patient, and maybe a little bit boring.
Yeah, but still accounting. Seriously. I guess we'll dive deeper into that next time.
All right, so before we went off on that tangent about accounting being about as exciting as watching paint dry, we were talking about New Mountain Capital's strategy of picking industries nobody else wants to touch.
Yeah, those sneaky bastards. They're like the vultures of the financial world, swooping in and picking the bones clean while everyone else is too busy chasing the shiny objects.
It's a pretty brilliant strategy when you think about it. While everyone else is fighting for scraps in the overcrowded, hyped-up sectors, New Mountain is quietly dominating these boring industries where there's less competition and more potential for long-term growth.
So let's dig into this a little deeper. How the hell did they decide which industries to target? Do they just throw darts at a board with a bunch of random sectors on it? Ooh, let's buy a paperclip factory. That'll be fun.
Not quite. They've got a whole team of analysts who spend their days poring over data, looking for industries that are ripe for consolidation or disruption. They're looking for sectors that are essential to the economy but haven't seen a lot of innovation or investment in recent years.
So they're looking for industries that are basically asleep at the wheel, just waiting for someone to come in and shake things up.
Exactly. They're looking for industries where they can come in, consolidate a few players, introduce some new technology or processes, and basically create a mini monopoly.
Okay, that makes sense. But what are some specific examples of industries they've targeted? Besides the whole toilet paper and denture cream thing, which, let's be honest, is still kind of freaking me out.
Well, one area they've had a lot of success in is healthcare. They've invested in everything from hospitals and clinics to medical device manufacturers and healthcare IT companies. They're betting that the aging population and the rising cost of healthcare are going to create huge demand for innovative solutions.
So they're basically cashing in on the fact that we're all getting older and sicker. That's kind of fucked up, but I guess it's also pretty smart.
Well, it's not necessarily about exploiting a problem. They're also investing in companies that are developing new treatments and technologies that could improve people's lives. It's about finding opportunities in a growing market.
Okay, fair enough. What about other industries? Give us some more examples of their boring but brilliant investments.
They've also been big on industrial and manufacturing businesses. Think companies that make things like chemicals, building materials, and industrial equipment. These are the kinds of businesses that are essential to the economy, but they're not exactly sexy or glamorous.
So they're buying up all the stuff that keeps the world running, but nobody wants to talk about at cocktail parties.
Exactly. And they're making a killing doing it. These businesses generate tons of cash, and they're not as susceptible to the whims of the stock market as some of those flashier tech companies.
So they're playing the long game, building a solid foundation on the backs of these unglamorous but essential industries. It's like they're the anti-hype machine.
And it's working. They've been consistently outperforming the market for years. They're proof that you don't need to chase the latest trends to be successful. Sometimes the best opportunities are the ones that everyone else is ignoring.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about their strategy for picking industries, but let's get back to this whole Grant Thornton deal. It's still blowing my mind that they're buying into the world of accounting. I mean, accountants are about as exciting as a bowl of oatmeal. What the hell are they planning to do with these guys?
It's a bold move, that's for sure, and nobody knows for sure what their end game is. But there are a few theories floating around.
Hit me with those theories. I'm all ears.
One possibility is that they're looking to shake up the whole accounting industry. It's a pretty old-school, traditional sector that's ripe for disruption. They could bring in some new technology, streamline their processes, and maybe even expand their services into new areas. They could turn Grant Thornton into this lean, mean accounting machine.
So they're going to give those boring accountants a serious makeover. Turn them into the rock stars of the financial world. I can already see it now. Accountants Gone Wild, coming soon to a theater near you.
Well, maybe not that extreme, but they could definitely modernize the industry and create a more efficient and tech-savvy accounting firm.
Okay, that's one theory. What else are people saying?
Another possibility is that they're simply looking for a safe and predictable investment. Accounting firms generate a lot of cash flow, and they're not as volatile as other industries. So it could be a way for New Mountain to diversify their portfolio and add some stability to their holdings.
So they're basically buying a piece of the accounting pie. Just a nice, safe, boring slice of pie that's going to keep spitting out cash year after year.
Exactly. And remember, they're not buying the whole firm, just the non-audit part.
Yeah.
That's where the real growth potential lies.
Interesting. So maybe they're not trying to revolutionize accounting. They're just looking for a solid investment that's going to churn out profits like a well-oiled machine. But I still can't shake this feeling that they're up to something bigger. They've got this reputation for taking these seemingly boring businesses and turning them into something extraordinary.
You're right to be suspicious. These guys are masters at seeing value where others don't. They've got a knack for spotting hidden gems and polishing them into diamonds.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't underestimate their ability to turn even the most mundane business into a cash cow. They might just have a few tricks up their sleeves that we haven't even considered yet.
Exactly. Remember, these guys are not just number crunchers. They're strategic thinkers. They're innovators. And they're not afraid to take risks.
All right, so what does this all mean for the rest of us? Should we all run out and become accountants now? Or maybe start investing in paperclip factories and denture cream companies?
Probably not, unless you've got a burning passion for spreadsheets and balance sheets. But I think there are a few key takeaways here that can apply to anyone, regardless of their profession or investment strategy.
All right, lay it on me. Give me the wisdom of the financial gurus.
First, it shows that there are still opportunities out there, even in the most unexpected places. You don't need to chase the latest fads or trends to be successful. Sometimes the best opportunities are the ones that everyone else is overlooking.
So don't be a sheep, be a wolf. Find your own path, even if it leads you to the exciting world of accounting. Okay, maybe not accounting, but you get the point.
Exactly. Second, it highlights the importance of looking for value, not just hype. New Mountain doesn't care about what's trendy or cool. They're looking for solid businesses with good fundamentals that are going to generate consistent cash flow over the long term.
So don't invest in some bullshit NFT that's going to disappear next week. Find something real, something tangible, even if it's not flashy or Instagrammable.
Right. And finally, it's a reminder that even the most established industries can be disrupted. New Mountain's move into accounting could signal a major shift in that sector. They might just shake things up in a way that nobody sees coming.
So buckle up, accountants, because shit's about to get real. Or maybe not. But either way, New Mountain is going to make a killing.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of their strategy. They win whether they disrupt the industry or just ride the wave of its steady profits.
Exactly. They're playing a smart game and they're playing it well. They're not afraid to zig when everyone else zags, and they're not afraid to bet on the underdog.
All right, I think we've beaten this topic to death. Let's wrap this shit up and move on to something a little more stimulating.
So we've spent a lot of time talking about New Mountain Capital, their unconventional strategies, and their knack for making a boatload of money by investing in things most people wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, it's almost like they're playing a different game than everyone else.
Yeah.
While the rest of the financial world is chasing the latest trends and trying to get rich quick, these guys are quietly building a fucking empire on the foundations of stability and long-term growth.
They've definitely proven that you don't have to be flashy or follow the crowd to be successful. Sometimes the best approach is to zig when everyone else zags. To be the contrarian, the quiet assassin, who slips in and snatches up the undervalued assets while everyone else is too busy chasing unicorns.
Just like they're the financial equivalent of that quiet kid in school who everyone underestimated, and then bam, they end up running a Fortune 500 company or some shit.
Exactly. And they've done it by focusing on the fundamentals, on building strong businesses that generate consistent cash flow regardless of what the market is doing. They're not interested in the quick flip, the overnight sensation. They're playing the long game, and they're playing it masterfully.
So what's the takeaway for all of us more mortals who aren't privy to the secrets of the financial elite? Should we all be ditching our 401ks and investing in lawn care companies and paperclip factories?
I wouldn't necessarily recommend going that extreme. But there are definitely some valuable lessons to be learned from New Mountain's approach. First and foremost, it's a reminder that there are still opportunities out there, even in the most unexpected places. You don't have to be a Wall Street hotshot or a Silicon Valley wunderkind to succeed. Sometimes the best opportunities are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with a vision and the guts to grab them.
So don't be afraid to think outside the box, to look beyond the hype and the noise and find the real value that's hiding in the shadows.
Precisely. Don't get caught up in the herd mentality. Do your own research, trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to go against the grain.
Easier said than done, right?
Mhm.
But I guess that's what separates the successful investors from the rest of the pack. They're willing to take risks, to bet on the underdog, and to trust their own judgment.
Exactly. And New Mountain Capital is a prime example of that. They've shown that you can build a financial powerhouse by focusing on solid, unglamorous businesses that generate consistent returns. They've proven that boring can be beautiful and that sometimes the best investments are the ones that nobody else wants.
All right, I think we've milked this topic for all it's worth. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of New Mountain Capital. We hope you learned something, had a few laughs, and maybe even felt a little bit inspired to go out there and make your own mark on the world.
And remember, don't be afraid to be a little bit boring. Sometimes that's where the real money is made.
Until next time, keep your heads up and your wallets open. And don't let the bastards grind you down.